In this video, I'm going to show you the 3 main points that will enable you to create or publish a book that can become a bestseller and will be profitable consistently for years to come. When you apply these 3 keys, you will know how to speak to your audience and how to find your audience. Then you can easily apply them every time you create and publish a book. So key number 1 is find your audience. This, of course, is an ongoing process. If you are publishing in one niche, say you're publishing many books in one niche, you will keep understanding your audience even more. You don't need to go crazy and go deep research and overwhelm yourself. I don't want you to do that, but you should have some understanding about your topic and a little bit about your audience. So don't overthink it. Don't feel like you have to know every in and out about them. You don't need to be a perfectionist. You don't need to know absolutely everything about the topic, but you do need to know enough. That brings us to number 2, really quick. You're going to identify their pain points. So when you are researching your audience, you need to keep in mind that there is really only one thing that they care about. What's in it for me? So they're asking, what's in it for me? No one really cares about what you are selling, okay? They just care about solving their problem or finding a solution to their problem. So they want to know, how can your book help them? What do they really want? And so when you are clear on what that is, you're halfway there. You will actually know how to include that in your title, in your description, in your content, in your A+ content, and in your actual content. But how do you understand your audience? Or how do you get in their shoes? The best ways of understanding your audience is by asking, and really you're trying to find out what questions they are asking. So you want to know what they're asking. Why are we trying to identify their pain points? There's 2 main reasons. Number 1, so that, and these are 2 really important reasons. One, so that you can actually create a book with content that will actually be relevant to them. And they will be very, very happy when they buy it because you're actually solving their problem, and they'll be happy after they finish it or after they consume your book. But it will also help you to identify your target audience. So if you understand their pain points, you'll be able to integrate that into your title. You want to know what words they're using to explain their pain points. Those are the words you're going to be using in your title, in your subtitle, in your description. You have to use that type of language. It's very important what words you are using, what words you are including. And we're going to go into some examples in a little bit. You're going to want to find out what other books are they looking for, or what are they also reading, what are they also buying. You're going to try to find out what they're commenting on. You're going to be following them on social media, understanding their language. So it's important that you try to understand them, try to understand the language that they use, because every niche has its own, terminology, and they have their own language for certain things. So you want to have an idea of that language, and it should be something that you understand. Obviously, it's a book that you're writing, but you also want to ask questions. What you want to do is you want to know what questions they are asking, which brings us to the 3rd point, which is finding related topics. So this will help you really in more ways than one. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to Amazon, and I'm going to give you an example.
Okay, so here we are in Amazon, in incognito mode, and I am going to plug in just a very random topic, urban gardening. So now, say this is your niche, and we're trying to find out what type of people are interested in this. What is your ideal avatar? What kind of questions do they ask? What are their pain points? How can I serve them better? So we're going to look at, and if you're going to see here that I do see the rankings, bestseller rankings. So basically I just use BookBeam right here. So if you don't have it, I suggest you get it. It helps a lot. Like you can see here, it will show you the bestseller ranking. It'll show you how many sales they make per day on average and the royalties. So it's we can go down here. This one is doing very well. Raised bed gardening for beginners, mini farming, that's doing really well. Seed to table. Okay, let's look at the very first one. The first thing you want to do is frequently bought together. So you can see this book. This one is Epic Homesteading, Your Guide to Self-Sufficiency on a Modern High-Tech Backyard Homestead. And Grow Bag Gardening, the revolutionary way to grow bountiful vegetables and herbs. So you can see the other types of books that they are buying. You also get an idea of the price range. So people are actually willing to spend, a decent amount on each book. This one is growing plants. This one's about growing vegetables and herbs. So maybe your book was focused only on growing plants. I don't know anything about urban gardening, but I'm just using this as an example. Indoor edibles. Okay, this is talking about vegetable gardening, vertical gardening, indoor edibles. This is for people who have maybe tight spaces and still want to, grow their own vegetables. We can click on this later. So basically what I would do is look at the also bought or frequently bought together. And as we go into that more detail, we will also look at the reviews. This has a good number of reviews. So, and they have a lot of good reviews because it seems like, they don't have very many bad reviews. And I would say maybe if it's a bad review, maybe it arrived torn or, damaged or something. Let's look at the 2-star reviews. He's a jack of all trades, but a master of none. The book really doesn't say anything useful or helpful. I wouldn't recommend this book to a beginner. There is so much wasted space per page with how it's printed that could have or should have been filled with more in-depth, useful info, but it's not. Too many chapters that are a flash and go nowhere helpful. I wish I could return. Okay. So that one doesn't like that there's not enough information. Outside of different containers to use, I didn't get much more from this book. Fine, but you can just Google all this, follow seed packet instructions, just get out there and grow some, make some mistakes, get better. Okay, so it's pretty constructive. It's not what I was expecting. There's not much advice on plants, etc. Nice pictures, but I was hoping for something. Well, they do have a lot of really good reviews and very few of these bad reviews, but this is an example. If I were doing this, I would try to put all of these things into consideration. You're never going to be able to please everyone, but if there are people that are thinking about certain things like this or want more in-depth information, maybe they just feel like the beginners probably need to know more details about stuff, then I would try to work on doing that. I would try to work on giving them what they're asking for, giving them more information. I would have to see the inside of the book to see what they're talking about too much space with not enough information in it, but that's definitely something I would look into. So now you're understanding a little bit about what they're complaining about, what their pain points are. They do want to know more. They don't want to just get a book that has basic information that they could easily get from anywhere. You also want to know more about the topic itself, especially if it's not a topic you're an absolute expert in. So back here to the frequently bought together, we can look at this book and see, does this give us any information? Bountiful vegetables, herbs, fruits, and flowers in lightweight, eco-friendly fabric pots. So this works mostly on fabric pots. I don't think the other one was focusing on that. So that is actually even niching down more, grow bags. So they grow in bags, not in pots. So I'm learning something right now. Wow. So that would also give you an idea about what you can also include. Or if you want to create another book and go more into depth, this could be another topic you can go into. It gives you a broader idea of what your customers might be interested in if they also bought that book, your book. So like we can even go here and look at their 2-star. Don't know where they're 2-star. Let's go with their 3-star reviews. I'm always a little leery when a brand new book has nothing but 5-star reviews day after day. Within a few weeks of it being published, I overlooked it because I really wanted to know about grow bags, and this seemed to be the only book on the subject. Wow. So if it's the only book on the subject, that means that it might be a low competition book. While extensive in covering the bags, very little practical help about how to actually plant your garden. Tomatoes, what size bag? 5 gallon, 10 gallon? Can I plant 2 or 3 cucumber plants in one bag? what height bag would be best for peppers. He mentioned being inspired by Mel Bartholomew of Square Footage Gardening. After Mel described everything you needed about your raised garden, that he then shared the best ways to plant almost every kind of. So this definitely gives a lot of information. Like this person wants, I mean, I would want to know about this too if I were doing planting in bags. You get so much valuable information just by reading some reviews. And I would go back and I would read, maybe even the 4-star reviews, even though those are probably gonna be more positive, but maybe some of them, the reason they did not give a 5-star was because there was one little point that they disliked, even though they liked the book overall. So that's also very helpful.
This is really a great place to understand your audience's pain points and what your audience wants solved, and maybe what hasn't been solved, say in your competitors' books, which is a great place to start because you will have something to offer that's different. And it's really good to be slightly different and slightly unique in something so that you have more to offer. Another easier and faster way to understand your audience, of course, is using AI. So we're going to use ChatGPT as well to understand our audience. Of course, I always do this with a grain of salt. You have to have some idea if ChatGPT is actually giving you the right information, but it's not the most accurate always, but usually it does a pretty good job, and it is something that has saved us so much time and effort. So what you can do is ask ChatGPT a bunch of questions that are related to your ideal audience. And I'm going to show you an example right now on ChatGPT, and I'm going to give you the prompts that I am using in the description below so you can actually use these same prompts.
So I have a prompt that I'm going to share with you guys. I'm sharing it below. A list of prompts actually, and I'm going to paste one here. So based on the topic, let's actually write urban gardening. Describe a detailed customer avatar for this book, including their demographics, psychographics, and a proposed book structure outline. This is if you don't even have a book written yet. Provide specific reasoning for each choice. So this is a great way to get an outline if you don't even have one yet about that particular avatar. All right, and now it says demographics from 25 to 45. Urban gardening attracts younger adults and those in their late 20s to mid 40s who are typically more environmentally conscious and seeking ways to live sustainably in urban environments. That really gives you an idea of, those types of people. They could be both male and female. There's a broad appeal for both genders, as urban gardening can be seen as a practical hobby or even lifestyle choice that attracts a diverse crowd. Income level, it tells you their income level. They are likely to be individuals with disposable income for purchasing gardening supplies. Okay, locations, that's really important too. They're in like large cities or very urban cities. Educational level, they're mostly college educated. Their psychographics, the same way, they're interested in environmentally friendly practices, reducing their carbon footprint. Okay, this really, really gives you so much to talk about. And this will also help you in finding them when you're looking for groups that are on social media and where they're hanging out. Health conscious, they're likely to care about their physical well-being and nutrition with an interest in growing their own organic food. They're eco-friendly, strong interest in reducing waste, composting, upcycling containers for plantings, supporting green spaces, and advocating for a healthier planet. This really gives you so much valuable information. And their pain points, limited space in their living environment, lack of knowledge about gardening techniques suitable for urban settings. Usually if these are people who have lived their whole life in an urban environment, they might not have the same knowledge as, say, someone who's, been living out in the country. Difficulty in finding quality, affordable gardening supplies. That could be a pain point. Desire for low maintenance solutions due to time constraints. See, these are things I probably would have never known or taken me a very long time to figure out if I were trying to do this research on my own or any other way. Goals and desires, learning how to grow food at home, beautifying small spaces, creating an outdoor retreat, connecting with nature despite living in a city, saving money by growing their own produce, especially if they're trying to get organic. This is great. And then you don't have to do this if you've already gotten your book, but if you don't have your book ready, you can use this as your outline. So it gives you the introduction, and then it gives you chapters and points in every chapter, and then you would just go and, expand on that. So that is a great example of using ChatGPT to really help you do your research. We have to be using AI because it really helps us speed up the process and a lot of things that would normally have taken us a lot longer to do.
And that's it. And that's how you get a detailed avatar of your audience so that you can serve them better, create something that is really valuable to them. And that is the main goal. And that will skyrocket your chances of getting or creating a bestseller and having high rankings on Amazon. So I hope this video helps. And if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. Don't forget to download your prompt worksheet questions that you can use to ask on ChatGPT. And I will see you in the next video.